Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head to Poland again and continue on with my Polish beer month that I'm filming for you across May 2016, and we've got another new brewery to have a look at today. We're going to a little town called Świętochłowice, I think you pronounce it, in southwestern Poland, quite close to Katowice, and we're going to visit another Polish brewery who are very highly rated. So this is Browar Reden, and tonight we're having a taste of the MILCoffeeL, which is a 5% coffee milk stout. It should be a very, very nice beer. It's rated at 96 overall on Rate Beer and within the style too, so this one should be pretty damn awesome. This was another beer, of course, that was recommended to me by Pavel at Piwomaniak. Very nice little beer store in Warsaw. He's got a great selection of Polish beers and he's a very nice guy. So if you find yourself in Warsaw, do make sure you go and check out his store. So you can find the link to the Facebook page for it in the video description below. But anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you do want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. The brewery website, the link to my other reviews that hopefully I can do in the future from Browar Reden. Very first time I'm trying one of their beers, and there's all the usual social media, so do check that out. If you want to see more beer reviews, do subscribe to the channel, and as always to my Polish viewers, I apologise in advance for any bad Polish pronunciations in this video, as many of you tell me your language is a little bit crazy for non-native speakers, so I apologise for that, but I hope you enjoy the video nonetheless, and I hope you're enjoying the Polish beer month that I'm doing for you. It's been really cool to actually do some Polish beers. The standard of Polish beer is very, very high. The regional breweries are very good, the craft beers are excellent, and I was even surprised with the standard of some of the macro beers as well, so make sure you try some Polish beers. But anyway, this brewery, as I mentioned to you, is attached to a restaurant, a brewery restaurant in Warsaw, which was founded back in March 2013. The company actually expanded it, and the brewery itself was founded in July 2014, and this one is in a small town close by called Świętochłowice, if that pronunciation is right, but this is very close to Katowice in southwestern Poland, just a little bit to the northwest of Krakow, and kind of on the way to Wrocław as well, and fairly close actually to the Czech border near Ostrava. But the company was started by Henryk Fejdka and also Lukasia Wazinska, I guess you would say, who is also a brewer. But they have a second brewer as well at the company called Marcin Strelczyk, and the brewery is located in a renovated coal mine facility. And it's actually quite interesting because this one belongs to Adam Maryszewski, and he joined the company and is apparently involved with it now soon after he rented out one of the buildings. But the complex is home to a variety of different companies, and it's quite distinctive in the local area because of the big chimney and the archway as well. So there's kind of a hive of activity, and Poland, of course, is a country that's undergone major kind of economic changes since the fall of communism, and they're starting to do very, very well for themselves, and this is why you're getting so many good little breweries popping up. But Browar Reden are now able to brew 2,000 litres of beer per brew, and they have 16 fermentation tanks with 4,000 litres capacity each, and they've actually got quite a big range of beers as a result of this. If you go and check out the brewery website, there's over 30 different beers listed on it, so I'm sure with the rating thing on Rate Beer, I looked at some of these and they were all rated well into the 80s and 90s, so pretty much with this brewery, I'm sure, just pick a style of beer that you enjoy, and I'm sure you will find a good beer and you will enjoy their version of it. And this was another brewery that Pavel taught very nicely about, so yeah, really cool to actually go and try this beer. So we'll get stuck into this one now. So this one is a 5% coffee stout beer, or coffee milk stout to put it accurately. It's hopped with Lubelski and Marinka, of course, which are Polish hops, and it's got a malt base of pale ale, wheat, caramel and roasted malts too, so it should be very interesting. I'll let you have a little look at the artwork on this one before we open it up. Should be really nice. As I always say, if you want to learn more about the brewery and things like that, do go and check out the brewery website in the description below. You can see this one is quite nicely presented. I do like the fact that they've got the kind of hand with the claws and the coffee. It's like, we love coffee, so it's quite good. But yeah, 5% ABV. It tells you the address of the brewery just on the side there. There's quite a nice bottle cap on this one as well with the boiling kettles and things. It's the same as this little badge here, but yeah, it looks very nice. It tells you on the back as well in Polish a little bit about the beer, and I'm not even going to try to read that because you've seen how bad my pronunciation is. It tells you the flavours you should get out of it, tells you the malts, and it also tells you the hops, and it should be served between 8 to 12 degrees. So I left this one outside of the fridge for about 20 minutes or so before I started filming this review. But without further ado then, let's get stuck into this beer and see how we get on. I'm sure it will be another awesome one. So yeah, as you can see, a nice smoky opening on this guy, and we'll get it out and into the glass. But yeah, the coffee stouts are a style of beer that I've only really started to get into recently, but there are some pretty damn awesome beers in this style. I don't even drink coffee or tea normally. A lot of people think I'm weird because of that. I'd much rather drink beer, in honesty. But I found that the coffee stouts, there are some really nice examples of these when they're done properly. But as you can see, this beer is a really nice ebony rosewood colour. If I hold it up to the light, there is a little bit of a ruby tint to it, but it's more of a kind of dark chestnut you get from the light shining through it. There's a solid finger of a nice beige frothy head on this one, and you can smell the smooth coffee off this. Really, really nice beer. There's some big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass and quite a few little bubbles just going up towards the bottom of that head there. It looks very nice, so let's have a closer look at the aroma. And yeah, without sugaring this beer up, you can really smell the coffee. The coffee comes out of this one right away. It's quite an earthy smelling coffee actually, but very, very smooth. But to me, definitely a kind of earthy, almost peaty coffee actually coming out of this one. But yeah, that's really nice. Those of you who are more into your different types of coffee and things will no doubt be able to tell me more about the beans and stuff that actually go into this one. But when you sugar it up a bit more, you start to get a bit more complexity to the aroma. So you can smell some sweet chocolate in there. There's a bit of a kind of toasted brown sugar as well coming out, maybe a little bit of that caramel malt that's in here. But overall this one smells really roasted and quite sweet in coffee. But you can get a little bit of chocolate. The sweet kind of milky chocolate starts to come out underneath this when you sugar it up. But yeah, mainly definitely dominated by coffee. For me, it's quite earthy. There's a bit of earthy hop character coming out of this one, which is quite interesting because usually the Marinka and the Lubelski hops, when I've come across these ones before, they do tend to be quite similar in character to the German noble hops a little bit, in my experience. I'd love to try some single hop IPAs with those in them actually, and just get properly used to the flavours of these hops. So that's probably something one of the brewers in Poland should do, is make single hop IPAs with all these Polish hops, so those of us from different countries can learn about the hops. But this one, definitely nice, smooth, earthy hop coffee character. I can't speak. To me it's quite earthy. There's a good bit of earthy hop character in there. You can pick up just a little bit of floral character as well once your nose adjusts to this a bit more, but there's some sweet chocolate and some milky and slightly caramelish notes in this beer as well. But yeah, definitely dominated by the coffee, and it's quite earthy at that, but overall it's quite sweet. It is quite sweet once you get over that nice earthy character. So yeah, take a little bit of time and try this one for yourself and just enjoy the aroma, as I always say with them, before you actually get stuck in and try them. You can pick up some really nice things just from smelling the aromas of your beer. So let's get stuck into this beer now. So this is the MILCoffeeL from Browar Reden in southwestern Poland. I can't really say the name of the village again, but this beer is supposed to be very good, so we'll get stuck in. Skål na zdrowie, as you would say in Poland. Oh yeah, this beer is a lot sweeter than you would think from the aroma. The coffee is very well mixed into it. It's a lot sweeter than you think it's going to be. See, the way that the coffee was coming out in this one, I was expecting it to be a lot more coffee forward, but there's a lot of nice sweetness to this beer as well. And as I always say, particularly when it comes to dark beers, sugar it around your mouth a little bit and just let the whole palate adjust to this one. There's a little bit of sediment just come out there at the bottom of the bottle there. But this is a good beer actually. I can see why this is highly rated. The sweetness and the coffee just go together really well in this one. Yeah, that's really nice actually. For me, the coffee flavours that come out in this one are very earthy, but it blends together in a really interesting way with the more milky and chocolatey aspects of this beer. Of course, with this one, most of the focus of the flavour is in the middle of your palate. This is definitely for that. It's got a good balance between sweet and some of the more bitter characters of the malt base there. The hops around the edge of the palate are very smooth. Around the front curve of the tongue you can pick up some of the slightly floral but mainly smooth and more grassy elements of the Marinka and the Lubelski hops. But the back corners of the palate is smooth and earthy, which is really quite nice. That complements the malt flavours in this one really quite well. Yeah, this is a damn good beer. You know, I can see exactly why this one is so highly rated on Rate Beer. And bear in mind, this is a style that I normally don't drink too many of, but I have to admit I am very impressed with that. This one reminds me a bit actually of the one of the beers I had from Popel's Brewery here in Sweden. It was one of their special project beers, and this one is pretty much just as good as that. So this is a very, very good beer. Yeah, there's a bit of red fruity ester coming out of this one for me. Just behind the front curve of the tongue you can feel that little oily bubble, and there's a little bit of red fruity ester coming out of this beer. Maybe a bit of sharp kind of raisin or plum actually coming out of this one. Yeah, this is definitely an interesting beer, that. So the middle of the palate is kind of blanketed. You can feel the wheat malts in this one. They just blanket the middle of the tongue, and all the other flavours are coming on top of that. You can feel the kind of earthy sort of coffee flavours on this one, and that builds a good bridge with the hop flavours at the side of your palate that I was talking about. The earthy coffee is really quite nice. It's a little bit peaty as well. You can get some of the sweetness from the caramel in this beer too. That comes out a bit more in the aftertaste actually, but you've got this really smooth, in the aftertaste you've got this really smooth earthy character, and there's a bit of nice sweetness in it as well actually. But yeah, this is really nice. The chocolate flavours are a bit more subtle in this one. They blend together really well with the kind of fruity esters that are coming out in this beer. But it's quite milky. You can definitely pick up some of the lactose character, and that's more towards the front of the tongue but still in the middle. But the chocolate and the lactosey flavours, they blend together quite well with the sort of fruity esters that are coming out of this beer actually. For me, there is a good presence from red fruity esters in this beer, kind of like candied fruit or raisins and plums like I was saying. But yeah, this is a good beer, there's no question about that at all. For me, this is more of a tasting beer. I don't think this is one that I would have too many of, but for me it's one, you know, if I come across a milk coffee stout that somebody recommends me, I do like to try it and see how it is. But I don't drink this style as one of my regular beers. But that said, I don't drink beer too much outside of the reviews that I do, but this is a damn good beer in a style that I normally don't drink too many of. So if you enjoy this style, I can see you guys enjoying this one, because I certainly have. And of course, when it's rated as highly as it is, there seems to be some agreement with that statement. But yeah, this is a really nice beer. The caramel for me starts to come out a little bit more into the aftertaste as well, but the flavours, as I've kind of tried to describe to you, they all blend together really well in quite unique ways, and that's what makes this beer really quite quirky. As I said, the chocolate and the lactosey flavours in this blend together with the fruits, and the caramel blends together a little bit more with the kind of earthy coffee and the wheat malts in there. It comes out a bit more in the aftertaste, and the hops, they've got a nice earthiness, and you've got some lighter floral grassy flavours coming out of there. But this is a really quite nice beer actually. I can see why it's really highly rated. So if you like a coffee stout, definitely go and check this one out. And the coffee stouts I've tried recently really are making me rethink the style, so I need to try and review more of these for you on the channel. Pardon me. But in terms of the mouthfeel of this one, I would say this is mid-bodied, definitely. There's a good bit of kind of creamy character to the mouthfeel as well, I would say. Carbonation is very smooth, which works out nicely. maybe there's just a little touch of oily character. There's a good blend between the creamy and oily feel of this. You've got a little bit of roasted character in this one, but not too much. You do get a little bit of bitterness from the coffee, but overall it's actually quite smooth and quite earthy, and you do have some of the sweeter elements coming out of the malt base, and there's a little bit of sharpness from those fruity esters too. Overall for me the hops are actually quite smooth, but there is a little bit of dry character towards the front of the palate and at the back side. So yeah, overall it is a pretty damn good beer. So if you enjoy a coffee stout, I would recommend that you check this one out. For me it's more of a dessert beer and more of a taster. As I said, I don't tend to drink too many coffee stouts, but I think I need to change that on the basis of the ones I've tried recently. For me this is a taster beer, and it's one that you taste to enjoy and kind of test your palate. But for those of you who drink this more regularly, it's probably a nice dessert beer for like chocolate cake and stuff like that. But overall the main message of this review is very, very good beer. So hopefully I can return to Browar Reden in the fairly near future and review some more other things. It'd be cool to try one of their IPAs or a double IPA or something like that and see how the lighter side of their brewing comes across. I always find that a good measure of breweries. Try one of the very dark beers and try one of the lighter ones, and then you get an idea of how exactly they like to brew. But these guys are very highly rated, and on the basis of this beer I can see why. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this beer review. If you do like a milk coffee stout, go and check out MILCoffeeL from Browar Reden in southwestern Poland. Very, very good beer. Thank you once again to Pavel at Piwomaniak for the recommendation. If you have tried this beer for yourself, please let me know your own thoughts on this one in the comment section below. Always interesting to hear from you guys that have tried the beers as well. Really, some of the responses I've had so far to the Polish Beer Month have been good, so keep them coming. But thank you again for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Do check out my social media, get in touch and let me know some of the other Polish beers and breweries that you guys would like me to have a look at. But most importantly, go and check out Browar Reden and do try some Polish beers. Thanks again for watching, and I will catch you soon. There's a few more videos in the Polish Beer Month to come. Na zdrowie.